Right, evening everybody. Welcome to our Wednesday night call. For those of you who have just got on, Harvey had an in-person meeting and he's going to attempt to join us, but we're not sure whether he's going to be able to make it or not. So in the meantime, you're getting Alex and myself this evening. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Merle Westcott and I live in Durban, South Africa. And I'm saying that because I can see Henrietta's here from Norway and I'm sure and Caroline's from the UK. So I'm sure that there are other people on the call who are also here from other countries. And I came to Lifewave in December 22 when I was introduced to the product by Candace. Where's Can's gone? She was on screen a minute ago. Now I don't know where she's gone to. Anyway, Candace introduced me to Lifewave, and because I come from a healing background, it made perfect sense to me, but I was never going to network the business. Anyway, I started seeing amazing results and then saw the results that other people had, and the rest was history. So Alex, who is going to present with me this evening, is my very dear friend. We've known each other since 2001, when I first taught her life alignment. And then we became friends and business partners over the years. But Alex, she'll tell you about her background. So Alex is going to do the medical part tonight, and I'm going to talk about the business. So over to you, Alex.
Okay, hi everybody. For those of you who don't know me, I'm from all over, but currently from Howick and KZN. I'm a nurse by formal training with a whole lot of post-grad stuff. I also spent 30 years in the pharmaceutical industry. Merle tried to get me involved in Lifewave for about 8 months. And I kept saying, I'm not doing that. It sounds like garbage. I'm not interested in multi-level marketing. I was seriously anti. Then a friend of mine's brother got dementia and he is a young man and the family was distraught. So I said, I've actually heard about this. He said, we'll do anything. We'll ground up khaki boss if you think that's going to work. So I said, I will look at this stuff and come back to you. And that sent me down a 2-month rabbit hole of reading clinical paper after clinical paper after clinical paper and looking and investigating the company, because multi-level marketing in terms of companies are here today, gone tomorrow, and everybody is left stranded and looking bewildered. And I also needed to be sure that this wasn't being manufactured by an enthusiast in somebody's garage. From a clinical point of view, also have an ability to, I worked with clinical trials for much of my career, so I know which journals are which, and not all journals are born equal. And so I was able to be discerning and to read the negative stuff. So that's how I came to Lifewave, which was kicking and screaming, and much against my better judgment. And I had to conclude after all of that the company is highly credible, financially solvent, and doing what it says it will do. It really does have the most amazing track record, both financially and scientifically. And it looks after people, both the brand partners and the people that we service as clients. There's a genuine motivation to heal and to care and to do the right thing. The ethics are hugely strong. And then clinically, I had to acknowledge the proof that the patch does produce a peptide called GKU copper peptide. There is clinical proof of that, full stop. And that peptide does a whole lot of things in your system, including stimulate the production of your own stem cells. That's a fact. So I then wasn't prepared to waste all of this simply because I was anti-multi-level marketing. So that's how I got here. Very, very reluctantly. And I've now been here in June, I think it'll be a year. It's about that. I'm not 100% sure. So that's my background.
Perfect. And then you can tell your own story just now when we get to that part. So let's start sharing the presentation.
Okay, have you been patched
Hold
yet?
on, hold on. Let me get to doing the whole presentation.
The whole screen.
On the whole
Okay.
screen, the slideshow. So just be patient. Okay, now you should have the right slide.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay, so have you been patched yet? Well, on this particular call, some will have, some won't have, some will have for a long time, a short time, a medium time. And for some, this will be a totally new experience. So we always do ask that question from everybody that we see in the checkers queue, at the coffee shop, or anywhere else in between. David Schmidt, the CEO and inventor, is a scientist and inventor. He has over 130 patents. He specializes in age reversing. And in 2008, David focused on stem cell research. The recent patent, which is X39, took 10 years and $4.5 million to bring to market. If anybody knows anything about research or about development, it's a lot of money. Okay, thanks. All right. Patented technology. I'm sure everybody on this call knows that you don't just get a patent. Patents take lots of time, lots of effort, lots of research, lots of detail, lots of data in order to be able to get a patent, to be able to say, I have this thing which nobody else has. And that's what a patent means. And apart from anything else, they're really expensive. So if you look at what was given in terms of X39, as a result of elevating copper peptide, it was embodiments as a result of elevating copper peptide, including activation of stem cells, improvement in energy, elevation of antioxidants, reduction in inflammation, management of pain, improvements in stamina, elevation of collagen production, improved wound healing. Patent is a patent. It's significant from a scientific and from a business point of view. Because patented means we have protection. We are one of a kind, and there's nobody else who has anything vaguely similar to X39. Thanks, Merle. Why X39 stem cell activation patch? The fewer stem cells that you have, the faster you age and the slower you heal. And we all see that in front of us every single day, both in our own physiology and in the physiology of the people around us and the people we know. Hundreds of millions of people are experiencing symptoms of aging. At age 30, only half your stem cells are active. And at age 60, you lose almost all of your stem cell activity, which is why we age, and which is why we start to manifest our chosen lifestyles and degenerative disease and all sorts of things related to getting older. How X39 works. It's a proprietary form of phototherapy. For everybody, phototherapy, light therapy. A lot of people on the call would have had babies that would have been put under UV lights when they had a high bilirubin. Another form of phototherapy is we go out into the sun and manufacture vitamin D. And other people would have had experience of infrared lamps that were given to you for healing at various stages. The difference between our phototherapy and other infrared lamps is that ours is on for 12 hours. Everybody else has to do theirs for 10 minutes, 3 times a day. So it's patented nanocrystal technology. It reflects light to activate. So the red light that we emit, the infrared spectrum that we emit activates the patch. It's non-transdermal, so nothing is going into your body. There are no drugs, no chemicals, no stimulants. And it's non-invasive. Benefits of X39. You can all read, but so can I. And you may want, in terms of me, I'll tell you what happened to me. Reduced inflammation, increased stamina, energy and vitality, mental clarity. My brain switched on, I actually thought my brain was missing. So it was quite remarkable what changed. Improvement in sleep and improvement in skin appearance. And I always say I didn't take it for that. I took it for a whole lot of other reasons. But I'll take the skin improvement as a byproduct of taking X39 because it's been quite phenomenal. So we achieve optimal health in a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being by simply allowing our bodies to heal themselves. I think it's important at this point to say that it's important to remember that the patch does not heal. The patch is a device, and it simply facilitates communication within the body, stimulating the body to do what it does best, which is heal. So the patch is a mechanism, a means to an end. And interestingly enough, if you look at technology and how technology has changed medicine, if you look at how technology has changed telephones, who'd have ever believed that we could do on a telephone what we do now? I'm 65, so I still came from those farm phones. Microwaves and medicine. When we first did, when I was in ICU and we did open heart surgery, we sometimes ventilated people for 3 days in order to warm them up and take their respiration back. Now they come out of theatre extubated most of the time. Technology has made the most extraordinary strides. So it's not inconceivable to believe that technology can give us the patch that we've got, because that's what it is. Okay. This is such an interesting group of pictures, and pictures often tell more than words. So this was a 77-year-old female, inflammation on her brain and lack of brain coherence. You can see the red and the orange indicating brain inflammation. 2 weeks, second session, 3 weeks on X39, no inflammation and improved brain coherence. And by session 3, you can see how dramatically the picture has changed. And that's 6 weeks on X39. A complete turnaround in better brain coherence. Her brain was hyperactive when she came in, and there was dramatic calming down. These are real facts. And this was a clinical trial that was done. But one can also extrapolate that level of inflammation and disarray is existing not only in people's brains, but in your heart, your lungs, your liver, your kidneys, every single bit of you that makes up your physiology. So that is quite remarkable in terms of how we see how rapid the change happened. So X39 long-term results. In the first few days, 4,000 genes begin to reset. Guys, that's absolutely phenomenal. It's unheard of. Okay, it simply doesn't happen. So that has an implication on a whole lot of different levels. Within 6 weeks, your brain becomes balanced. Within 3 months, your collagen is increased. My story has a whole lot of stress related to it, and I definitely had leaky gut, simply related to less levels of stress and anxiety, and that was repaired. Within 6 months, your heart reverses in age. That is the most incredible clinical trial. They look at heart rate variability and show that within 6 months, your heart reverses in age. I think it's by 8 years. Am I right, Merle?
Yeah, by 8 years.
Yeah. So David Schmidt always says it's not anti-aging, it's age reversal. And what an extraordinary man to have made anything like this. How to wear X39. You wear your patch for 12 hours on and 12 hours off to repair and to rejuvenate. Then you throw the patch away or put it on your dogs, cats, children, mother-in-law, or whoever else, because it's probably got a couple of hours of activity still in it, and it would be silly to waste. Then put a new patch on and repeat. You can wear more than one patch at a time, not of the same patches, because the benefit is not proportionally worth it, and drink plenty of water. Patches are essentially electricity. Most of us are electrolyte deficient, and if we want to optimize the ability of the frequency to communicate, we need to be sure that our electrolytes are in the best place they can be. So that's the plenty of water, and that's the electrolytes. So it's sophisticated and yet simple to explain. There are many, many testimonies, and they're life-changing and emotional. But the absolute best thing about X39 is that it works. So my story comes from a story of having polymyalgia, which is multiple muscle inflammation for many, many years, treated with cortisone, any manner of things. I'm quite a hectic walker, so I had to prevent getting inflamed. It was a constant companion. I could sometimes not stand up easily. I would push myself out of a chair or pull myself out of a chair like an old person. And I just had to keep going. So I took whatever medication was given to me in order to be able to do that. I also did a lot of energetic work. But the pain management, if you get allocated so much energy in a day and you have chronic pain, this much of your energy is used functioning as normally as possible as you can in the background of normal pain. So it leaves very little of your life to be able to do creative things, interesting things, participative things. So that's where I came from. I started taking X39 and Aeon. And I was also a desperate non-sleeper. So Aeon at night and X39 during the day. And it has taken me 10 months. But when I first started taking them, I was hugely stressed. All my hair had fallen out. Literally, I used to get basins of hair, and it's all back. There was almost nothing. And after 10 months, I am pain-free. Not every single day, but 99% of the time now. I just woke up one morning and it was gone. And that was probably about a month ago, 3 weeks ago. I still have days where I'm tired. And during that time, I had days when I was tired. I had days when I was sore, and I just pushed through because I understood the concept that stem cells heal. And whether we can see that, and whether that is apparent, and whether it's working where we wish it to work and to be acknowledged, is not something we can control. Your body decides the order of healing. And it needs to fix from the bottom up. So sometimes it takes a while to get where you have seen a manifestation and would like something fixed. So that's my story. And X39 has, changed my life.
So I was going to ask Candace, because like you to talk, because like Alex, Candace also had a longer journey.
Yeah, so as Merle said, we kind of got introduced together, and I was so busy I didn't have time for Lifewave, but I started using the patches, and I had been for blood tests for the last 10, 12, 15 years, where my inflammation was sitting between 25 and 40, and I think it's supposed to be somewhere around 6.
Under 3.
And 3, wow,
Under
yeah,
3.
that's so yeah. I was always just completely freaking the doctors out, but I had a back injury where there was nerve damage and I didn't want to get it fixed. So I just carried on using X39 every day religiously, started, using the rest of the patches. And I was always feeling frustrated that people were having these one patch wonder experiences. And also I had a lot of back pain, and X39 did not help me with my pain. But found a beautiful protocol to use, and I am pretty much pain-free. But the best thing was that pretty much a year after I started using the patches, I went back for blood tests. And when I went to go and see my doctor, he said that the last one was at 38 and it had gone down to 9. So he was gobsmacked. I had some samples to leave with him, and he just couldn't believe that a little device like a patch could bring it down 4-fold. So it's been an incredible journey, and I'm so grateful. And I love listening to Alex train because she's just so knowledgeable. She tells it like it is, and it just makes me so motivated being on these calls when she's sharing. So yeah, thank you all. And yeah, just keep using them no matter what. Because even if you feel that they're not working, like Alex once said, your body is producing copper peptides, whether you like it or not. So just keep on using them. You know, it took a year for me to actually see such a huge difference.
Thanks,
Mel.
Hans. So now I think we should have somebody who had a faster result. Tilly? You're right in front of me and your camera's on, so let's just have you. There we go.
Okay, good evening, everybody. Okay, so like Merle says, I had faster results, and most everything that's happened to me happened within 14 days. So within the first 3 days, I had a lot of tingling on my spine, the upper spine as well as the lower. And that is where I had problems. So I know initially I did get a little scared and then realized, no, you know what, it could be the healing that's already started happening. And then within about 5 to 6 days, my energy levels soared. And the lovely thing was that the clarity of mind came in as well. So it was wonderful just to be my old self again and know where I was going and where I was leaving my keys. And
Always a good thing.
And of course, I had hurt my foot in 2016, and the bones literally crushed, and I had pins in for a very, very long, extended time. But I hadn't walked properly ever since, with an extreme lot of pain. And that pain dissipated completely in about the 10th day or so. And then my restless leg syndrome that I had for 15 years had gone completely by 14 days. And for me, that was the greatest thing, because after all of those years, I actually slept through the night and for half the morning as well. I got up at about 10 o'clock the next day, feeling absolutely crazy and so relaxed. And I've been sleeping that way ever since. And I've had no pain. Life's just great. And that was, by the way, was only with the X39, nothing else, just the X39. So really, I think that just says a lot. And I've been fortunate.
Thanks, Tilly.
Yeah. Oh, I've forgotten something.
I know, I was going to say one more.
Yeah.
One more.
Yeah, okay. I had forgotten about my the glands. My glands in my throat had well, I used to get glandular fever after the vaccines, and my doctor didn't want to hear about it. Well, anyway, that was fevers every 2 weeks. And from the time I put on my first patch, there's been no fever ever since. So that's just been so amazing. Thank you. Thanks, Merle.
Thanks, Tilly. And then, okay, one last one. Mitch, do you want to share about how you use it in your practice as a medical professional? Okay.
Perfect. So I use it quite a bit. I use mostly the Eon, which is an anti-inflammatory patch, and the Lifewave, which is basically a pain blocker, is what I like to call it. Literally, it does that. So, for example, in 3 different patients, I've had cracked ribs, and I've used the Lifewave and the Eon, and their pain's gone from a 10 out of 10, excruciating pain, cannot move at all, to none at all. And the looks on their faces when they can move without pain is remarkable. It is the best. I was just sharing with someone else earlier today. Another major event was an individual who I'm going to see again tomorrow. He's been in isolation for 3 weeks. He had his stem cells harvested. He had chemo. He's had them put back. Before he went in for this round, I patched him for his severe nerve pain and muscle spasms. And 2 days later, he was playing bowls, which he hadn't done for 6 months. So that was just with the Eon and the Icewave. So very excited to introduce him tomorrow to the X39 as well. So yeah, those are just a couple of my stories.
Thanks, Mish. Yes, Alex.
Well, can I just say something there, Mish? It's so interesting to hear you talk like that in terms of rapid resolution, because I worked with Cindy at Link Hills for 2 weeks. And we patched for pain every single day in all the time that I was there. And it was unbelievable to watch.
It's a proper
I've dealt with
miracle.
pain in my career like you have, all sorts of pain, protracted pain, acute pain, just all sorts of pain. I had never seen that. So in the beginning, it looks unbelievable, and you think you're messing with somebody's head. You know, you think you've actually told them so convincingly that this is quite extraordinary that they believe you. So in the beginning, it really was that kind of a thing for me. It's believable to watch in terms of pain. So nice to hear somebody else getting results like that, because people walk out, their lives are different. Yeah,
Those facial expressions just don't lie.
just lovely. Yeah.
Just for those of you who don't know what Alex is talking about or who Cindy is, so Cindy is also one of our brand partners, also a nursing sister, and she runs the clinic in Link Hills Pharmacy, which is the closest pharmacy to me. It's pharmacy I would go to, and they have been patching in their clinic for a year now. They started pre-Comrades last year, so they saved a whole lot of people's Comrades marathons last year. So it's really interesting to know exactly, you know, who they are. Somebody's asking me to confirm I'm speaking Spanish. So I don't know who's asking me to do that on the Zoom call. So no, I'm not. I'm speaking English. Right. Okay, let's go back to the presentation. Right. Okay, so I think I'll take over from here. It's probably easier. I'm going to go into the next slide. For everybody, as Alex didn't say, when Alex showed you what happens in the first days, weeks, etc., it showed this is at info.com at the top. If you haven't seen this website, take a photo of this page so that you can go to the This Is It Info website, and you can go and look at all those medical studies that Alex was talking about if you know how to read them, but if you don't, you know that they're there so that you can, you know, show them to people. Or you can also then look at the first 3 videos. The first one explains how the patches are activated by light. The second one is a very short video of David Schmidt talking. The third is Dr. Leyland Stillman being interviewed and explaining how the patches work. And then right at the bottom of that page of the website is an interview with different medical professionals. So there's everybody there, from an anesthetist to a cardiovascular surgeon to specialist physicians to chiropractors. I think there might even be a homeopath there, but there's an array of different medical professionals who are all part of the team. They're all brand partners. So none of them are there. Somebody once said to me that Leyland Stillman has to say that he works for corporate. No, he doesn't. All of those doctors are brand partners like we are. So if you join the team, those people are also part of the team. So this is a team, is the team that we belong to. So when we start looking at a multi-level marketing company, we want to know it's secure. So one of the reasons that I wasn't going to tell anybody is that I had done network marketing before. I've been very successful, that other people hadn't. And I thought, I can't do this because how am I going to bring someone into a network? And then when I started seeing the stories, especially Karen's, and if you haven't seen it, we can share with you the testimonial a group on Telegram, and you can go and watch it instead of me telling you the story. I realized that I had to tell the world. So then I started looking at, well, what is the company all about? Because Candice and I were both, we're just going to patch. We're not telling anybody. Well, now she's an SPD and I'm a presidential, and it's all changed completely. Look, smile on her face. So it's a 19-year-old company. We went from $20 million a year turnover in 2021 to $320 million a year in 2022. That's when we joined. We joined in December 2022. And a $430 million turnover last year. Now, when we joined in 2022, for those of you in South Africa, I used to say it was the best kept secret because it was very new in South Africa. And normally, as a therapist in complementary healing, I'd heard about everything that was going, and I had never heard of Lifewave. But we're now open in over 75 countries, closer to 80 countries. But the most exciting thing is that we're not a Me Too product. So a lot of multi-level marketing companies have really good products, but they have the same products. So there are lots of companies that have skincare or supplements or weight loss shakes. And that's great. But when I come to you and I say, well, I've got a new skincare, it's an amazing night cream, you're going to go, well, I've got one too. And then when the person is short of money, they are going to go buy a cheaper cream in the local supermarket or maybe the pharmacy or even in a clothing store, because a lot of them sell, skincare too, because maybe they've got rewards or maybe it's cheaper there, or maybe they just run out and they don't have time to order. Whereas with us, as Alex said, with the patents, you can only get it from us, and that's what makes us so different. So as of this year, we are ranked #1 momentum company as per businessforhome.org, which is an American website that rates all the MLM companies. And we rated as #1, which is very exciting. And that is because of the team we belong to, the This Is It team. And that is the team that's led by Steve and Gina Merritt. Now, we had a conference in January, which was a team conference, and it was online, so it was virtual. And corporate were there. And corporate presented this graph to us at the conference. And it shows our team with the blue line, that this is a team, and the rest of Lifewave with the green line. By the end of last year, starting in June last year, our team outperformed the rest of the company. So that's quite something, that a team that only started in July, I think it's 2 years ago, when Steve and Gina joined the company. They may have joined in June, because I think Harvey joined in July. But in that short space of time, they were already outperforming the rest of the company. People who've been brand partners for 19 years already. So Lifewave has also just been awarded the #1 growth company at the 2024 Global Bravo Awards. So now, why are there 2 pictures here? So the one with all the people behind was the This Is It conference last year, which was in the States. And on stage, corporate were there again. You can see Steve and Gina Merritt. Steve is in the black shirt, Gina's in the pantsuit, along with David Schmidt, who's our CEO, in the blue shirt, and then Meredith, our president. And then on the right-hand side is Meredith and her corporate team accepting the Global Bravo Award. So at this point of the presentation, we always say to you, what is the most important in your life? Your family, time freedom, security, travel, better health, less debt. When I joined Lifewave, it was all about the health. But thanks to COVID, we had a huge amount of debt, and I can happily say that I am now debt-free. So it really does change everything from how you feel. And I even also, like CAMS, I have blood tests to prove that my thyroid improved in the first 4 months, so I could have my medication. And I had other things that happened to me, but that was measurable. So a lot of the things are measurable, because from 2015 to 4 months after I started patching, it was exactly the same. So we have an incredible compensation plan in Lifewave. Like Alex said, there is a lot of integrity and everything is done 100% properly. And we get compensated for bringing people in. So that's called a product introductory bonus. And then we build a team. Now, our team, we have 2 legs. So if you come in, you're going to build 2 legs only. So you put one person left, one person right, one left, one right, one left, one right. Till eventually you work out which side needs more people, but we'll teach you all about that. So you come in, and if you come in on gold and you bring 2 people on each leg, on silver or above, you are going to become a manager. And all we focus on is making managers. So Harvey teaches us to be manager making machines. That's a phrase that he coined, which was, be a manager making machine. And that is going to take you right to the top in the business. And when you do that, you start earning on the binary. So the binary means that you get volume on each leg. And the volume comes from everybody below you, even people you didn't put there. So for example, Candace put me on her right leg, but I came in after she put a couple of other people. So there was Candace, and she put another person, maybe they put a few people, then I came. So there were other people above me. And as they put people right, they dropped in. So when I put my first person on my right leg, there were 18 people. She was 18 down from where I was. But that means that everybody between my first sign up and the top of my leg, whatever they do left and right adds to my volume. So their sign-ups, their monthly orders, everything they buy, I get volume for. So they're not part of my team necessarily, but they give me volume. Then on my left leg, because you're always going to grow one leg yourself, I started my left leg. And that leg is absolutely exploding. And the people who are on this call, who are on my left leg, I cannot believe how fast that leg is growing now. It's just got a life of its own. It's very, very exciting. So everybody there adds to my left leg volume. And so your one leg, when it produces 330 volume, and your greater leg 660 volume, you get a cycle bonus, and the cycle bonus is $50. Now, you could earn $100 a week in cycle bonuses, even if you're not a manager, but that's where you capped. Once you become a manager, it opens up that whole compensation plan, all the way up to $25,000 a week for our senior presidential directors. Obviously, not all senior presidential directors are earning that yet, but that is where they are capped per week. So as you create more volume and you collect it, as long as you stay active, you collect volume. So the company doesn't go the beginning of every month, we reset to the beginning, which some companies do. As long as you stay active, that volume accumulates. So when you start building, every time you have 330, you've got 660 on the other leg to give you a cycle. And those cycles are very, very exciting, and they can add up. So we can help you make $100 a month if you want to, $500 a month, $5,000 a month. All of it is absolutely possible. Now, we also have something called a matching bonus. And I think I'm going to unmute Candace in a minute, and she can talk about matching bonuses, because I started building before Candace did, but she went manager, and that's the key. Once you go manager, you unlock a matching bonus to everybody who is underneath you. So that meant, because I'm Candace's first line, every single cycle bonus I got, she got 25% of that cycle bonus. And that starts adding up. Do you want to unmute, Candace, and just explain how that works from your perspective?
Well, I just love that because, you know, I was always the one that avoided network marketing. Anything that sounded like network marketing, I would run away from. But when Merle started earning more than me and I was above Merle, I was like, this is an amazing company, because it rewards the people that are working hard. It didn't just reward me for being above her. Of course, I got rewarded, and that was very motivating for me to watch her succeed, and it put a firecracker up my butt to do so. But it's definitely amazing in that, you know, if you work hard, you're going to make the money, which is fantastic. And the person that brought you in will also get something, as long as they're doing what they need to do. So for me, that was huge.
Thanks, Candace. So as long as you're a manager, so Candace had to become a manager, which she did. And then that meant that everything that I make and everything now that I make forevermore, as long as she stays at a manager, she's senior presidential director now, so she's going to stay there, I'm sure. But as long as she stays at a manager or above, every single cycle I get, she gets 25% of it. Not of my money. The company rewards her, okay, because she brought me in and for helping me. Now, my second line, same thing happens with Alex. She's my first line, whatever she gets. Tilly's my first line. My second line, anybody on my second line? So, for example, Lee, okay, iPad is Lee. You don't need to talk to you, but Lee's my second line. She came in under Nina. Nina's my first line. If Lee starts getting cycle bonuses, every cycle bonus that Lee gets, I am going to get 20% off. So that's $10. She'll still get her $50, but I'm going to get $10. To do that, though, you have to be getting 6 cycle bonuses of your own each week to tap into line 2. And then we tap into line 3, and line 3 would be, Michelle is my line 3. If Michelle gets a cycle bonus, every time she gets a cycle bonus, I am going to get 20% of her cycle bonuses. Now, this only goes to 3 lines below you. And that is why in Lifewave, we never give our personals away. So today on my managers group, people were saying, but why don't we give our people away to somebody else so that they become a manager faster? Because actually that person you give away might end up being huge, or the second or third person they bring in ends up being huge. And then you're going to miss out because maybe you've given them away, and then the third person comes in. You don't get cycle match on that because now that's your level 4. So we don't give people away. If you've got somebody, you're going to bring them in under you. Now, how do you get started? So when I started, I was only going to use the product. So I came in on silver, which was $299.95. It gave us 3 sleeves of X39, and X39 is activated stem cells. When we started, we didn't really know much about the other patches, so we only focused on X39. And I thought, okay, well, then the next month I would buy 1 sleeve, because it would be 1 for me, 1 for my hubby, and then we would have another one, and we would need a second one the next month. So it was just going to be the best way to do it. But then a friend bought that one, so the next month I upgraded to gold. That's another amazing thing about this package and the company. You upgrade by paying the difference and receiving the difference in product. So gold, if you want to go manager, you have to be on gold. And to be on gold, it's $499.95. You get 5 sleeves of X39 plus a supplementary patch free. That would be like your Icewave or your Eon. Or you can replace any of those X39, 1 sleeve of X39, either for X49, which is the same price, and that's our newest product in the company, or with 2 of the supplementary patches. So I could do 2 Eons for 1 X39 or 1 Eon and an Icewave. So that's what you do with gold. Diamond is for the serious entrepreneurs. It's $1,599.95. The price of the X39 drops to $84 a sleeve then. So if you're going to retail them at $150 a sleeve, you are going to make more, and that's the recommended retail price. Or if you're going to use a whole lot of product. So for example, Link Hills Pharmacy, Pauline the pharmacist was very skeptical. They came in on silver, saw the results really quickly, and a week later upgraded to diamond because she realized how much product she was going to go through in her clinic. And she still goes through a huge amount of product in the clinic, and they sell it over the counter. So if someone comes in with a migraine or whatever it is, they will sell patches to them, or patients who've been patched by Cindy now come and ask for patches. If you come in on diamond as well, you're going to be active for 3 months without having to purchase any products. So it's another advantage. To keep your volume, you need to stay active. So it's like any business. If you had a florist, you would need to sell flowers. If you've got a supermarket, you need to sell food or whatever else it is you sell in your supermarket. You know, the toilet rolls, the paper towel, the washing liquid, all those things. So we stay active by buying product. You don't have to buy a huge amount, because I always say, I remember when my in-laws passed away and we went through their garage and they had boxes full of stuff from the company that they once joined and they never were successful in, but they had so much of it that they hadn't even used it in their lifetime. But here, you're only buying what you need. So until you're a manager, you need 55 volume a month to stay active. That's 1 sleeve of patches. So like 1 X39 or 1 supplementary patch. And from manager all the way to senior presidential director, you only need 2 sleeves of patches a month, so 110 volume to stay active. So say an X39 and an Eon. If you get the cheaper patches, you need 3 sleeves. In my house, though, there are 3 of us who patch with X39 now. My son also patches, he's 20. So 3 of us who use X39, we buy 3 sleeves of X39 a month. Then we also use things like SP6. I'm using X49 every day. We use Eon, glutathione, carnosine. So it's very easy to buy that product, and it's all being covered by what I earn from the business. So it's actually not a cost now, it's a business expense, but also my health is incredibly important to me. Like Alex says, she's never going to stop patching because it's just not worth it. Once you know how much better you can feel, you're just not going back. So, and that's a question we always get asked, what will happen if you stop patching? So if you stop patching with X39 and you've had some amazing recovery, like the spinal cord is regenerated, we have people that has happened to, that's not going to go back to how it was before, but the natural aging is going to start happening because now you're not going to be producing stem cells. So that's the short answer to that. So this is a team.com, is our team website where you will find videos on the compensation plan, how to onboard, how to set up your e-wallet, everything you need to know about the business is on thisisateam.com. Lots of things with our senior presidential directors talking and doing YouTubes and explaining and drawing things out on whiteboards for you. Now, why do we have a picture of Punta Cana? We're not going there, but our American, Canadian, and Mexican colleagues will be going there or brand partners, our friends, or what you want to call them now, really our colleagues, because we're all in business by ourselves, but not for ourselves, because we work as a team. But they're going to Punta Cana in November. They're working towards this incentive trip, and I think we are in week 4 of the incentive at the moment. Those of us in Europe, which means South Africa, we link to Europe, South Africa, Norway, UK, we are all going to Morocco. And then my Australian brand partners and people in Australia, Hong Kong, those sorts of countries, or the Asian sort of countries, they'll be going to Da Nang in Vietnam, and we will all be going in November at the same time, because it's when the 20th anniversary happens for the company. So everybody will be away at the same time, and it'll be absolutely incredible. I leave today in 2 weeks' time. When you're having a presentation, I will be on a plane on the way to Prague on the last incentive trip, which I qualified for. So when I get back, I'll tell you all about exactly how the company treats you. But already we know exactly what we're doing for the 4 days that we're there with the company. So it's very, very exciting. They treat everybody incredibly well, and they reward you for achieving and working hard, not just financially, but with other things as well. So the time is now to make your move. Are you serious about your dreams? There's hope for your future. Get started with X39. So go back to the person who invited you and say, I'm ready to get started. I just want to give it a go. If you just want to get it a go, do those 3 months of X39, get your story. And as Alex said, I'm going to unmute, sorry, I muted you, Alex, because there was a feedback. Now I'm going to unmute you again. But as Alex said, you know, a lot of people don't have a result really quickly. So don't give up after 3 months if you haven't had your breakthrough, because your breakthrough could be just be coming. And the research shows that 97 to 98% of people who patch with X39 are going to see results. So I'm sure you'll all be one of those. There are lots of other people on this call who've had amazing stories, but go to the person who invited you, go to the website, go and have a look at our testimonials group on Telegram. There are lots of stories about everything, but don't become hung up on testimonies or testimonials. Alex, do you want to address that one? I think that's important.
Yeah, I do. Well, I'm happy to address that. So in the beginning, I was quite testimonial dependent. Okay, I tried to find a testimonial that accommodated everybody's idiosyncrasy, from their ingrown toenail to their brain tumor. I was determined to find something that could fit into whatever box it was. And the bottom line is this, for me, from the lofty perch of 10 months or 11 months or whatever it is, I think it's far more important for people to understand what stem cells are. So when you present to anybody, please be careful, because stem cells is bandied about as a word. And people have a concept of stem cells. A lot of people don't know what they are. Really, they don't. So it's always good in a presentation to ask. So that you're not talking about something people don't understand, but it's a buzzword. And what has worked for me, or what is starting to work better for me, is making sure people understand the concept of stem cells and that they heal. Full stop. Whether now, just now, or a hell of a lot longer than now, they will heal as long as you persevere. So now in talking to people, I really do my best to create a realistic perspective and a realistic expectation of how long this may take. And if in amongst that, there's a 1 patch wonder or a 2 week wonder or whatever these people happen to be, yay for us. And that's absolutely fantastic. And you can use those stories often. Most people will take longer. It's taken you a long time to be sick or to lose the degeneration. And the other thing that I use quite extensively is to say to people, it's not always about being sick. You don't wait until the wheels fall off your car before you look after it. You take it for a service and you change its oil and you do whatever else needs to go. So why would you, when you only have one body, it's the only box you're ever going to get, why would you not look after that? So for me, stem cells is understanding the concept of stem cells and not necessarily bringing it down to everybody's individual issue. They will heal. If you lose them long enough, they will heal.
Thanks, Alex. I think that's so important for people to understand, because so often people, especially if you're new on the call and you haven't started patching and you've got a sore back, or you've got bad sinuses, or there's something wrong with your thyroid, or you've got liver disease, or whatever it is, having you know, I want a story that someone else has had that result. But we don't all have the same programming. So if we were a computer, every computer's got a different programming. So everybody's story is going to be different. So I might have the exact, I've got an underactive thyroid, somebody else with an underactive thyroid is going to have a different result. Because perhaps their thyroid is underactive because they've got an autoimmune disease. But you don't know that because they just say, well, that's my problem. And I think that's why it's so important that we just explain why the patches work, get people patching, rather than having this attachment to, I'm not going to do it or start patching unless I meet someone who's got the exact same condition as me, because then I'm going to have the same result. It's the same as medication. No two people respond to the same medication in the same way. So I hope that gave everybody a whole lot of clarity. And if you have questions, or hopefully you're going to be joining us, you go back to the person who invited you to the call this evening and you ask them, how can you get started? And they will help you choose the right package to sign up. And if you're wanting to start for health, or you're wanting wealth, or you're wanting both, we can help you achieve whatever it is you want to achieve. So thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful evening, and we will see you on the calls next week. And if anybody has friends in America and you want to put them on a call, the same link at 10 p.m. this evening. I'm doing another call on exactly the same link, so in an hour. So you have that option to invite people to that call. So let me stop recording.